was not entirely all that excited about White House Down because it looked more like a rehash of a movie I've heard about but I had not seen earlier called Olympus Has Fallen. And from what I've read about the movie, I haven't really seen it, but even if I did see it, I would not have enjoyed it, but that's beside the point. I had low expectations when going to see White House Down, and now that I've aside, I have to say that the movie it's not the best movie, but it's definitely something pretty interesting, and it had my attention the whole time. All the action sequences in this movie were very well done, but let's get more in depth into the movie. Starting off with the storyline. The storyline I thought was something pretty interesting because it's definitely not something I could have done, and I'm an aspiring filmmaker myself, but I wouldn't have come up with anything too ambitious like this. And the story was actually something pretty interesting because you have like these military invaders who take on the White House because. But one of the bad things about it is it's kind of a typical cliche hostage thing. Like, it's people who do this just for money, and I'm not going to talk spoilers in this movie because I don't have time to talk about them. But definitely this movie was pretty interesting, and let's get more into the acting. A lot of the actors in this movie were pretty good. Channing Tatum was spot on, just like always, and that was actually really great considering that he's not doing any more acting for the rest of the year. I did not expect Jamie Foxx to play president at all, but because fortunately, I never seen a black guy play the president. Jamie Foxx, no disrespect to you, but they actually did really good jobs in their roles. Joey King, I did not expect Joey King to play such an intense role, especially as Channing Tatum's daughter. That was definitely a great role she played, and she just kicked butt in that one. And James Wood. I wasn't too surprised when I noticed that James Woods played the villain because I had seen two movies in which he played the villain. Hercules was one of them, and Recess School's Out was the second. And I knew he was adept at playing villains, but never in real life. In anime, yes, but not in real life. But either way, he did a good job in this movie. So the plotline was definitely something very interesting. It was definitely not a rehash of Olympus Has Fallen. If it was a rehash, I would just went to the ticket counter and ask my money back. Luckily, however, that didn't happen, and I had a great time throughout this movie. And definitely there was a lot of things in this movie I actually really liked. I didn't recognize a lot of the actors in the movie at this point, but one thing I did have to say about the movie, it's kind of critical, is that it felt kind of long because I almost slept on the entire movie, and I went to a 6:30 showing on my 6:30 showing, and I completely lost track of how long this movie was because it felt like almost over 2 hours long. It felt almost as long as The Dark Knight, to be precise, because I had seen The Dark Knight, I know how long it is, and if it had gone any longer, I would have definitely kind of spazzed out. But it held my attention the entire time, but still felt pretty long, I have to say. Overall, the acting was, and overall, the special effects and a lot of the action sequences were actually pretty. Like, there were tons and tons of action. They're like bigger than any other movie I've ever seen. Like, there's tons of gun violence. The car chasing, the explosions. A lot of the explosions, and a lot of the bad guy humor was a bit kind of goofy, a bit kind of cliched and a bit goofy. I have to say, but a lot of the action sequences were definitely planned out. They were shot really well, and there's certainly real stuff. They didn't really seem fake. They seemed like that stuff was really blowing up out there. And that is definitely something, when you're a filmmaker, you have to focus on. And that was definitely something really good, obviously. Now, anyway, this movie actually came off pretty well, I have to say. Overall, the movie was pretty great. Like, the acting was great. Channing Tatum came off awesome. Did with Jimmy Foxx, Joey King, Maggie Gyllenhaal, I have to mention. And especially for Rochelle Lefebvre from Twilight, I didn't expect she'd be in this movie in the first place. Joey King kicked butt, especially, and James Woods, he definitely rocked again as the villain. I won't go into any spoilers in this movie, but overall, I had a good time in this movie. So overall, I have to give this movie. Overall, my rating for this movie is let's say this movie is definitely a good time. Alcohol, no. No. Popcorn, yes, and bring plenty of it because you're gonna have a good time in this movie. So I want to know in the comments exactly what you thought of the movie. Did you think any of the acting was great? Did you think the humor in it was kind of too cliched and unnecessary and goofy almost? Let me know about the acting, especially especially about like plot line. And overall, give me anything you have to say about say about the movie. If you have not seen the movie, then go see it. It is definitely, it's not the best, but it's definitely interesting. And that is all. And that is all I have for today. I am Aaron, and I will see you next time on M&M Weekly.